yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Yeah, we ran out of patience. Boil up with the cold hard hatred. I can feel the vibration. Feet in the streets, it's a new sensation. I wanna break faces on the pavement. I wanna make greatness look complacent. Adrenaline awakened, I can taste it. We can make an impact, grab it and take it. Like a disease, bring them to their knees. Take the thing to see. Just like a weed.
Oh, yeah, baby. Are you ready for a good time? Because I'm ready for a good time. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know who I am, please allow me to reintroduce myself. Ladies and gentlemen, I am the one and only DJ Storms, and I would like to welcome each and every single one of you here to a very special edition Wednesday stream. I don't normally stream on Wednesdays. I can't even remember the last time that I streamed on a Wednesday. But regardless, we got a lot to talk about tonight because tomorrow is Thanksgiving, and I know a lot of you are going to be with your families, as am I. I'm going to be relaxing, eating a lot of good food because that's what we do on Thanksgiving. And then, of course, a month later, we got Christmas. We have a lot of good opportunities to be chowing down on some great cuisine. But we do have some business to talk about, and before we get into doing that, obviously, you already know who I am, Mr. Controversy, and the operator of the Best Damn X, formerly known as Twitter handle, known to mankind. And this is the official rundown for WWE Survivor Series WarGames, which of course is streaming live this Saturday, November 30th, 2024 on the Peacock. That is. Get your mind out of the gutter, you fucking savages. Peacock this Saturday from Vancouver, British Columbia, starting at 6:30, if I'm not mistaken. I think 6:30 might be the pre-show, and then the main show is at 7, or they may do it at 6. They may do it at 6 because they did Bad Blood at 6 o'clock 2 months ago, or almost 2 months ago, rather. But regardless, it's going to be an early night. It's going to be an early night depending on how long the WarGames matches go. But we do have a decent-looking card. That much I will say. Before we get into what we're going to get into, if you haven't already done what you're supposed to do, that being following me on social media at HistoryMakerDJS. One more time, that is at HistoryMakerDJS, both on X and on Instagram. You can also add me on my personal Facebook as well for collaborations and business inquiries. Please send me an email. My email is, of course, StormsTakeOver@gmail.com. Please make sure that you like the official DJ Storms business page. And I may just send you an invite to join the official DJ Storms Posse group on Facebook. That is, all those links are in the description of this very stream. If you're watching on YouTube, or if you're watching on Facebook, or if you're watching on Rumble. To those of you watching on X, how you doing out there in X-land? Elon Musk is having a great night. I'm streaming live on his platform. In addition to that, if you want to donate to me on Venmo and Cashapp, you can do that right now. My Venmo is at DJ Storms. My Cash App is the DJ Storms. If you would like some DJ Storms merchandise, you can get your DJ Storms wristbands, you can get your DJ Storms t-shirts, and of course, the greatest piece of merch that you will ever own, the DJ Storms Switchblade comb. And just like me, you could be so good. You could be scrumptious, you could be tasty, and just like everyone wants a piece of the Stormsmeister, everyone's going to want a piece of you. Trust me on that. You are going to want to get yourself this glorious comb, and my God, does my hair look good. I got a haircut last Saturday. Definitely needed that. Please make sure if you haven't already done so, like the stream no matter where you're watching it from. And of course, share it out on all platforms, social media, whether it be Facebook, Pinterest, Tumblr, Snapchat, TikTok, Twitch, no matter what social media platform that you may be using, share it out. Share it out. So that way everyone will be made aware that DJ Storms is live on a Wednesday, because I'm never live on a Wednesday. It's only on special days. And of course, everyone needs to remember that when I come into your life, it is a known fact that your life will become better because I make people's lives better. I didn't make that you hit the subscribe button. And of course, you hit that notifications bell with a huge coup de grace, because that way you're going to know whenever I pop up on YouTube. Because whenever I pop up on YouTube, it is the absolute best fucking time to be on YouTube, because it is the only time that you're going to get to see this glorious sideburn chin strap combination and this beautiful mustache right here. Look at how fucking pristine it is. It is absolutely fucking scrumptious. It is fucking delicious, because I'm a delicious guy. Let me take a sip of my ice water right here. Pure fucking zen. How you doing, Capitan Refucho? Very nice to see you, and happy Thanksgiving to you and your family as well. Survivor Series. This is the third year in a row that they are doing WarGames. Now, I'm going to tell you the same thing that I said last week on the rundown for Full Gear. Which, by the way, Full Gear wasn't necessarily a bad show, but the lack of effort on weekly TV, it is now starting to seep into the pay-per-views, and it's starting where we really have a big problem. Normally, the pay-per-views, when it comes to pro wrestling, especially mainstream pro wrestling, normally it's the pay-per-views that end up giving us some sort of release from the terrible weekly TV. But we didn't get that at Full Gear. We got some of a release. We got some great matches. But ultimately, the format of the pay-per-view, it did not favor the talent, it didn't favor the crowd, and it didn't favor the company. Not this time, at least. The company loaded up the pay-per-view with one or too many matches. Just one too many matches or too many matches. Either way, that didn't play into a positive effect, and the overall product for AEW TV, it hasn't been its hottest. Same thing goes for WWE. I said it last week, I'll say it again. It's not just one company. It's both. You can enjoy what WWE puts out there. I'm not saying you can't. You can enjoy what WWE puts out there. You can find some inner peace in it. You can find happiness in it. But in the end, if we're going to speak from an objective standpoint, the fall season, specifically with WWE, because we already talked about AEW, the fall season for WWE has been, for lack of a better term, minus a decent Raw or two here and there, minus a decent SmackDown or two. The overall fall season for WWE has been, for lack of a better term, dog shit. It's been dog shit. Whether you want to admit it or not, that is the truth. It's been dog shit. And it's actually been pretty prominent in this build towards Survivor Series. Survivor Series WarGames was thrown together. Now, does it look like a decent card? Yes, it looks like a decent card. But that doesn't mean that it wasn't thrown together with little to no heat. If anything, the only match on this show that has any sort of heat is probably the men's WarGames match. And even then, that is stretching it a little bit, considering that Solo's bloodline's been on the decline ever since SummerSlam. Ever since he lost that match to Cody Rhodes, Solo's been nothing more than a glorified jobber chief. Never mind tribal chief. And then on top of that, you got two guys in the Bloodline WarGames match that shouldn't even be there. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. You got the women's War Games match. The women's War Games match, that is the definition of thrown together. That is the literal definition of thrown together. Triple H used the Crown Jewel Championship for the women to throw together a match for War Games because he did not build up any women's factions. He didn't build up any tension with the women. He didn't even build up some sort of stipulation where it's Raw versus SmackDown for women's War Games. He built up nothing. So how exactly am I supposed to sit here and say, yeah, this women's War Games match, man, this is going to be a barn burner? It was thrown together. It has a bunch of programs in this War Games match, minus the fact that we could potentially see a Naomi heel turn. We could potentially see a Naomi heel turn. We could potentially see a Bayley heel turn, depending on who took out Jade Cargill, which, by the way, Jade Cargill is legitimately injured, just so everyone knows. Jade Cargill is legitimately injured. Apparently, she has a neck injury. She has a neck injury, according to the reports, and it is unclear when she will be back. Now, I don't give two shits about Jade Cargill when it comes to professional wrestling. If anything, Jade Cargill's WWE run has been infinitely worse than her AEW run. All she's done is drag Bianca Belair down. But I do wish Jade Cargill a speedy recovery. But minus a Naomi heel turn or a Bayley heel turn, this women's War Games match is full of dead feuds. The Liv Morgan-Rhea Ripley feud has been dragged on way too long. That shit has been dead since September. Ever since Bash in Berlin, the Rhea Ripley-Liv Morgan program has gone ice cold. Then you got Nia Jax as the women's champion over on SmackDown. Nobody gives a fuck about Nia Jax as the women's champion over there. Nobody. If anything, Nia Jax is keeping the women's division down. Even though her match with Naomi was actually very good, Nia Jax is just not clicking as the women's champion. If anything, these triple threat matches that we've been seeing to determine the first ever Women's United States champion over on SmackDown, that's actually been doing more for the women's division than Nia Jax. Then you got Tiffany Stratton, who's been teasing a cash-in since July, and people are just saying to themselves, holy fuck, can she just cash the fuck in already? Can she just take the title? Sick of waiting. They're sick of it. And then Triple H wants to come on here and tout, long-term storytelling. Everyone wants to come out and tout long-term storytelling. Long-term storytelling's great and all, but when it's shit, it's shit. When it drags, it drags. When it's not interesting, it's not interesting. And whatever the fuck is going on with Tiffany Stratton and Nia Jax, it's not interesting. Whatever the fuck is going on with Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley, it's not interesting. It's not. We're all just collectively waiting for the cash-in. We're all just collectively waiting for this program with Rhea and Liv to end. No one cares about Bianca Belair anymore. She may be one of the best women in the division, but no one gives a fuck about her. Then you got LA Knight and Shinsuke Nakamura. I really don't know who is listening. I hope someone from WWE. Matter of fact, I know people from WWE are listening to me. So I'm going to be straight up with you right here. WWE has completely dropped the ball with LA Knight's United States Championship reign. They dropped the ball. I know a lot of people might not want to hear it, but that is the gospel truth. They dropped the ball. LA Knight has been the United States champion since August. Coming out of the program with Carmelo Hayes and Andrade, when they had that best of 7 series, and then it resulted in a triple threat match at Crown Jewel, which ultimately resulted in LA Knight winning, and no one even gave two shits about it afterwards. LA Knight is running on thin ice as the United States champion. And the fact that they threw Shinsuke Nakamura in there, I love Nakamura as much as the next guy. I wish Nakamura has gotten treated better in the WWE, especially after Triple H took over. But no one cares. Nakamura is a glorified jobber, and we all know that LA Knight is going to retain its Survivor Series. LA Knight, no matter how good he is, he cannot overcome the fact that he doesn't have enough legitimate challengers to make his championship reign intriguing. And that is all on WWE. Tough pill to swallow, but that's the truth. Braun Breaker, Sheamus, and Ludwig Kaiser. Ludwig Kaiser is a very, very, very good professional wrestler. Do not get me wrong. Ludwig Kaiser is great. Ludwig Kaiser is awesome. But is he really going anywhere as a singles guy? Does anyone believe that Ludwig Kaiser is going to win the Intercontinental Championship no matter how good he is? No. Matter of fact, whenever I see shit like this, why? Why didn't they trade Imperium over to SmackDown, if anything? Look at what they're doing on SmackDown with the tag team division. The tag team on SmackDown is immensely better than what it was coming out of WrestleMania. The tag team division on SmackDown is fucking great. It really is. The division on SmackDown is fucking great right now. We've been getting some great tag team matches with the Bloodline and the Street Profits and the Motor City Machine Guns. They just came in. DIY, they got a decent program with DIY going on where Tommaso Ciampa could end up turning heel, or maybe DIY as a duo turns heel. Maybe Ciampa convinces Gargano to go over to the dark side. There's a lot of intriguing shit going on in the tag team division. Hell, they even got some decent material going on the Raw side as well. The Viking Raiders are the number one contenders for the tag team titles. The New Day is about to split up. Why exactly? Out of everyone who is in a tag team, why would you split up Ludwig and Giovanni? And then Sheamus. Why is Sheamus fighting for the Intercontinental Championship now? Why is Sheamus fighting for the Intercontinental Championship now? He should be fighting for the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania. After he loses here, because I fully expect Braun Breaker to retain, after Braun Breaker retains, I fully expect Sheamus to be rebuilt. Because if Sheamus is not the one to beat Braun Breaker at WrestleMania, I don't know what the fuck we're doing with Sheamus here. Matter of fact, you just signed Sheamus to a new deal just to keep him away from AEW. AEW, they're extending Rey Fenix's contract just to keep the Lucha Brothers away from WWE. If WWE just re-signed Sheamus just to keep him away from Tony Khan, I'm going to be calling them out on their pettiness. Can't stand pettiness. But you got Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, Naomi, Io Sky, Bayley. They're taking on Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Candice LeRae, Nia Jax, and Tiffany Stratton. The women's WarGames match, which I expect this match to start the show. As I said in the beginning, a bunch of dead feuds, dead programs. Women's WarGames match was legitimately thrown together. Thrown together because they needed a women's WarGames match. Because if the men are doing a WarGames match, then the women have got to do a WarGames match. WWE, they're actually known for being the non-woke company. But holy shit, right then and there, you got to throw in a dash of wokeness on Survivor Series. Don't even get me started on the fact that titles, even though the triple threat matches on good, we do not need a Women's United States Championship. We don't even need a Women's Intercontinental Championship. If anything, we need to get rid of the Women's Tag Team Championships, and we need to put a focus on the Women's World Championship and the WWE Women's Championship on SmackDown. We need to put a focus on those two championships. Why are we not? I don't know. Why are we not? I do not know. That's disappointing. Very disappointing. However, as I stated before, and I saw this image floating around social media. There's an image floating around on social media where Naomi, she was hugging Bayley in the ring, right? Naomi was hugging Bayley in the ring, and she threw out this facial expression, this like facial expression at the camera, and I associated it with either she suspects Bayley of doing something, or she is plotting something that is ultimately going to end with her turning heel at Survivor Series, and Naomi's going to go rogue. Maybe Naomi joins Solo's bloodline. Some people have been throwing that idea around. I certainly would not be opposed to that. That could be intriguing in certain aspects, for sure. I do believe so. But again, the women's WarGames match, this is probably the match that I don't give a shit about the most. Out of all the matches on this show, shit was thrown together. Shit has zero heat going into it. Should it be good from a match perspective? Yeah, I have a feeling it'll be good from a match perspective. Sure, it'll be fine from a match perspective. I mean, all these women are great professional wrestlers. All of these women have value when the bell rings. But as far as levels of intrigue, this is very, very low on the list. This is very, very, very low on the list, and realistically, no one gives a shit about it. I'd be willing to bet that a lot of people, if they were to be asked, which match do you not care about on Survivor Series, many people would answer the women's WarGames match. But I'm going to make a bold prediction here. I do believe that Naomi is going to end up turning heel. I'm going to throw out that bold prediction. We'll see what happens. Naomi turns heel, and potentially, we see Naomi go rogue. We see Naomi go rogue, and maybe we see a feud between Naomi and Bayley. Just saying. It'd be interesting. I don't think we've had a genuine heel run from Naomi. We had a short little stint, right? We had a short little stint of a Naomi heel run back in 2015, but it didn't really go too well. It didn't really go anywhere. It didn't really go places. Maybe we could see something here. But with Naomi heel turn, maybe we see Liv Morgan get the win. Makes sense. Got to keep Liv Morgan and Nia Jackson strong. They are your two women's world champions after all. How you doing? Drew on the beat. And how are you doing, Mick? Yes, I know. I am pixelated. Unfortunately, StreamYard is acting up. I can't really do much of anything right now with StreamYard acting up. Hopefully, we could potentially get a scan on this laptop going, and it should be fine in the end. Let me throw in a little scan. I'll throw in a little scan on my laptop. I think we possibly need a software update. There you go. Software update. Get a software update in there and finish. There you go. And then I'll run a little bit of a smart scan. Hopefully that way it'll help with my pixelization. But moving on. United States Championship. It is LA Knight and Shinsuke Nakamura. Nakamura came out of nowhere after his hiatus. Nakamura's been taking quite a lot of hiatuses as of lately. But like I said before regarding LA Knight is great at what he does. LA Knight is great at what he does, and we're all advocates for LA Knight here. We love LA Knight. But If you want the definition of laziness, right? If you want the definition of recycled, all you need to do is look at what they're doing with Shinsuke Nakamura and LA Knight. This is legitimately the same exact feud that we got at the end of last year going into Payback and Fastlane with Seth Rollins and Shinsuke Nakamura, which resulted in two very good matches, that much I will say. Two very good matches. But regardless, it's the same shit. Nakamura sees LA Knight at the peak of his career and pretty much says, oh, that should be me. That should be me. And I'm going to prey on your insecurities. Yada, yada, yada. It's the same shit that he did with Seth Rollins. The same shit. Does anyone genuinely care? No. Because this is what Nakamura is being used for. And I don't really want to make comparisons here, but if I was to describe Shinsuke Nakamura as we speak right now, under the Triple H administration, Shinsuke Nakamura is literally the Japanese Dolph Ziggler. He's literally the Japanese Dolph Ziggler. He is there to help get people over. He is there to help get others over. There is no value with Shinsuke Nakamura. And I don't even think there's going to be any value if Shinsuke Nakamura leaves and goes to AEW whenever his contract is up. Maybe he just wants to end his career in WWE. Maybe he's just going through the motions because, he's fine with just collecting the paycheck. But WWE ruined Nakamura's career. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Give him the United States Championship? Why would you? Why would anyone contemplate giving Nakamura the United States Championship? LA Knight should not be losing that championship until 2025. LA Knight should not be losing that championship until we get to WrestleMania season. And if anything, I'm going to throw it out. I'm going to throw it out right now. They dropped the ball with LA Knight's United States Championship reign because they didn't plan ahead on who's going to fight him and who's going to beat him. I literally laid out a perfect plan on who should beat LA Knight. I said, and I quote, it should be Bronson Reed. But no, you're putting Bronson Reed in WarGames for no fucking reason. Because you're trying to still make him feel important after you destroyed his mystique at Crown Jewel by having Seth Rollins beat him. Bronson Reed should have continued to wreak havoc on Monday Night Raw. It doesn't seem like he's wreaking havoc at all. Bronson Reed doesn't feel as big as he did in August and September. Bronson Reed should have been continuing to wreak havoc so badly on Monday Night Raw that Adam Pearce would have no choice but to trade him. Call up Mr. Nick Aldis. Trade him from Raw to SmackDown. Trade him from Raw to SmackDown, and then you build him up to take down LA Knight at WrestleMania, and boom, Bronson Reed is an instant star at WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas and beats LA Knight for the United States Championship. But no, who am I? I'm just a common 25-year-old kid from the suburbs of New Jersey who just talks about wrestling whenever it fucking feels like it. Don't listen to me. I just put on my own wrestling show last month. LA Knight retains. No excuses. Braun Breaker. Another one. You know, what pisses me off so much about WWE's fall season this year specifically. Last year was infinitely better than this year. What really pisses me off is the fact that WWE last year, they did the same shit this year, but instead of one championship, they did it with two championships this year. Last year, you had Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso beat the Judgment Day to win the tag team championships. And then 9 days later, you gave the titles back to Finn Balor and Damian Priest in the Judgment Day. You just gave it right back to him. Why? I don't fucking know. This year, you flip-flopped the tag team titles between 4 teams within a 7-month period. That's number one. And then number two, you flip-flopped the Intercontinental Championship. You flip-flopped it from Braun Breaker to Jey Uso, back to Braun Breaker, just to fuel a bloodline civil war inside of WarGames. Meanwhile, you should have been fueling the bloodline civil war and the tensions between the OG bloodline and the new bloodline since the spring of last year. Jey Uso should have been fucked over at Money in the Bank by the new bloodline. Then Jey Uso would actually have a reason to be fighting the new bloodline, and then you could build some tension between him and Roman, and then ultimately comes the reunion. They threw this shit together so quickly, and if it hadn't been for the fact that it's a bloodline civil war WarGames, and if it hadn't been for the fact that we have a lot of big names in there, like CM Punk and Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns, I'm telling you, this WarGames would be just as cold as the women's WarGames. But as far as Braun Breaker goes, you flip-flop the championship between Braun and Jey Uso. Now it's back on Braun Breaker again, and you're going to have to rebuild his momentum. Don't you remember what happened back in 2022 when he lost the NXT championship to Dolph Ziggler, and then he won it back 22 days or 28 days, 29 days later? He was never the same again, and that was a babyface run. Now they're trying to make him a tweener, in a sense. Maybe that'll work. But at the same point in time, why did you need to take the championship off of Braun Breaker when you could have still kept it on him and he would have been 4 months deep into a championship reign? Oh, that's right, because you don't build up challengers in advance for your champions. You don't fucking build up challengers in advance for your champions. And that's pretty damn obvious based on the fact that Cody hasn't defended his championship since September. We gotta wait 2 more weeks. We gotta wait 2 weeks after Survivor Series. We gotta wait 2 weeks after Survivor Series to have Cody Rhodes defend the champ. So you're telling me Cody Rhodes is gonna go 3 months without defending the championship? I thought we left that shit behind in Roman Reigns' championship reign. Why are you bringing that shit to Cody's championship reign? Very counterproductive, if you ask me. But Braun Breaker, Sheamus, and Ludwig Kaiser. I do believe this is going to be a very good match. It's hard not to when you got Sheamus, Braun Breaker, and Ludwig Kaiser. I think the Canadian crowd is going to showcase a lot for Braun Breaker, Sheamus, and Ludwig Kaiser because all 3 of these guys are fucking great. All 3 of these guys are great at what they do. Braun Breaker retains. No reason whatsoever for Braun Breaker to lose. No reason whatsoever why we need Braun Breaker to automatically drop the championship once again after he barely held it for how long? 40 days? Not even. Braun Breaker retains the championship. No questions asked. What happens afterwards? I don't know. Ludwig Kaiser and Sheamus, they've been fighting for months now. And it doesn't seem like there's any end in sight. So I would not be shocked if we see Ludwig Kaiser and Braun Breaker, Ludwig Kaiser and Sheamus. I would not be shocked if we see Ludwig Kaiser and Sheamus in a program following this triple threat match. Braun Breaker, I don't know where Braun Breaker goes. Maybe we see another rematch with Jey Uso. I don't know who else they have. Legitimately, I don't know who else they got on Monday Night Raw right now that could stand toe-to-toe on Braun Breaker and give him a decent program and give him a decent match and make it feel believable that he could be in jeopardy of losing the championship. I don't. It's like an unsolved mystery. But Braun Breaker is absolutely retaining the Intercontinental Championship. Absolutely no reason why he needs to lose the championship. And Ludwig and Sheamus, they're probably going into a program following this match. If anyone knows any good challengers for Braun Breaker, please let me know. Because I got none. I got absolutely fucking none. None, son. You could have built up a Dragon Lee, perhaps. Dragon Lee and Braun Breaker. That sounds like a damn good fucking match. Rey Mysterio and Braun Breaker. Sounds like a damn good fucking match to me. Braun Strowman, maybe. Wouldn't mind Braun Strowman. Although he tore his groin back in September, so I guess Braun Strowman is kind of on the DA as we speak. So we'll have to wait to see what the status is of Mr. Braun Strowman. World Heavyweight Championship match. The World Heavyweight Championship match. This is Damian Priest and Gunther. The Ring General Gunther. I don't know why I said it like that. Matter of fact, I did, because I can fucking say it like that. It's a lot more fun to say it like that. It really is. Gunther. Gunther's fighting Damian Priest. Gunther is fighting Damian Priest. Don't know why I said it like that. Gunther is fighting Damian Priest. I'm going to be quite honest here. This match should not be taking place. Not now. If anything, this match should have been saved for Saturday night's main event. This match should have been saved for Saturday night's main event. As much as I appreciate Damian Priest, and as much as I love Damian Priest, he should not be in a world title match against Gunther at Survivor Series. We already went through this at SummerSlam. You could have held off till Saturday night's main event, and then you would have made Saturday night's main event feel more important because you would have had both world championships on the show. It's much better when your pay-per-views have both world championships on the show. Just pointing it out there. I love Damian Priest just as much as the next guy, but he should not be fighting Gunther at Survivor Series for the World Championship. You know who it should have been? It should have been Punk. I reported on that months ago. It should have been Punk. Why? Because Punk is the bigger name, and Punk makes Gunther's championship reign feel more important. If Gunther were to beat Punk, that would have made his World Championship title reign feel exponentially more important than it does right now. Because whatever they're doing with Gunther as we speak, Gunther's title reign has seemingly been put on the back burner. I'm not sure if that's by design and they're trying to make him doubt himself, but they got zero challengers for Gunther. Punk would have been a great challenger for Gunther at Survivor Series. He should not be in WarGames. And then you could have built up Damian Priest to fight Gunther at Saturday night's main event, and Gunther would have not one, but two great title defenses in the books. But they didn't do it. Now then, regardless of whether or not CM Punk should be in WarGames or he shouldn't be, regardless of whether or not Gunther should be defending against Priest or Punk, I do believe that this is going to be a great match. It was a great match at SummerSlam. Matter of fact, a lot of people actually said that Gunther and Damian Priest, that was the better world title match at SummerSlam. A lot of people said that that match was actually the match of the night at SummerSlam. And if you were to say that, I would not disagree with you. I wouldn't disagree with you at all. Matter of fact, I think that it may be a little bit of a tie between that match and then Logan Paul and LA Knight. But either way, I mean, holy shit. The match is going to be great. And I think that, if anything, this match could end up being better than their first match. I truthfully believe that they have the potential. I do. But again, what are you going to do with Gunther following this? What are you going to do with Gunther following this match with Damian Priest after Survivor Series? You're going to run it back again? We're going to have to wait till the Royal Rumble, perhaps, for Gunther to defend the championship? Or are you building up someone to fight Gunther on the Monday Night Raw premiere on Netflix when we get to 2025 and Monday Night Raw moves to Netflix on January 6th, are you going to build up someone to fight Gunther then? Is it going to be Punk and Gunther, perhaps? Some people are saying that Rollins is going to fuck over CM Punk, and Rollins is potentially going to take Punk's spot in WarGames. Are you going to build up a little storyline where Seth Rollins is actually fucking over CM Punk at every twist and turn? Is Rollins going to take the match with Gunther on the January 6th episode of Raw on Netflix? Listen, that would actually inject some life back into the WWE product if you want to go that route. If you really want to go that route, by all means, that will absolutely inject some life back into the WWE product. I think that that would be very, very nice. But Damian Priest and Gunther, this should have been saved for Saturday night's main event. You should have had a mapped out list of individuals for Gunther to fight. Could have started with Orton, then you could have gone to a Sami Zayn, then you could have gone to a Punk, and then a Damian Priest, and then maybe a Seth Rollins. By the way, did we just completely fucking forget about the program between Damian Priest and Finn Balor? It's like it barely even got off the ground. We had one match between the two at Bad Blood, and it was probably one of the better matches on the show. If anything, that match was actually one of the better matches on the show. That match, I could have easily watched for another 5-10 more minutes if they wanted to give him a little bit more time. That match was very, very nice. But it's like, you gave it to him. Damian Priest beats Finn Balor. Finn Balor never even gets off the ground. Like, Finn Balor's in the same fucking spot as Shinsuke Nakamura. He's just there to put other people over. I'm sorry, but Finn Balor, he is not an enhancement talent. Finn Balor is a main event level talent. And it really makes me wonder if Finn Balor really should have won the World Heavyweight Championship from Seth Rollins at SummerSlam 2023. But Gunther is retaining. He should absolutely retain. No reason why we need Gunther to be losing the championship. Gunther is not losing that championship until he hits at least 400, 500 days. I'd be shocked if Gunther loses that championship before 2026. I'd be shocked if Gunther loses that title before 2026. Hope you guys are having a good time. We're going to go over the last match on the show. But before we do so, please make sure to get in your super chats, your super stickers, your super thanks. Thank you very much to Capitan Refucho. Thank you very much to Drew on the Beat. And thank you very much to Mick. Thank you very much. And thank you to everyone who's watching across Rumble, X, and Facebook. I greatly appreciate you. I haven't been doing the LFU as of lately. I've been trying to enjoy my weekends as of lately. But I appreciate you taking the time and spending your Wednesdays, your Thanksgiving Eves with DJ Shizzle Dizzle. And by the way, if you haven't become a member of the channel, I will become a member of the channel ASAP. Main event. Roman Reigns, Jimmy Uso, Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, and CM Punk versus Solo Sikoa, Tamatanga, Tangaloa, Jacob Fatu, and Bronson Reed. This is the men's WarGames match. You want to talk about dropping the ball? WWE, whether you want to admit it or not, they dropped the ball on this too. WWE dropped the ball on this too. WWE absolutely dropped the ball on the Bloodline WarGames match. The original 4 that they had, no problem. But I don't care what excuse you want to give. The Rock should have been involved. The Rock should absolutely be involved in this WarGames match. Whether you love him or whether you hate him, whether you want to make excuses for the fact that he's filming a live-action Moana movie as if anyone gives a fuck about that. I don't give a fuck about it. I'm sure no one in this chat gives a fuck about it. Either way, The Rock needed to be involved in this WarGames match. Bronson Reed, the only reason why he's involved in this is because they fucked up with him at Crown Jewel and they had Seth Rollins beat him. So now they're trying to maintain his credibility. They're trying to maintain his legitimacy by throwing him in there with the bloodline, the OG bloodline, and the new bloodline, just to make him seem like a bigger deal than he really is. And then Punk's in there. You threw Punk in there. Why? Just because Roman Reigns and CM Punk? Oh, hey, they're two Paul Heyman guys. Let's throw them in there. Hardy har har. Why? Just because they're two Paul Heyman? Who gives a fuck if they're two Paul Heyman guys? CM Punk doesn't make any sense. Bronson Reed doesn't make any sense that he's there. I don't care what kind of excuses you want to pull out of your ass. The Rock should be involved in WarGames. If he wasn't going to be involved in WarGames, then why did you bring him back at the end of Bad Blood to have him stare down Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes? Why did we get a fan video leaked on social media of Solo Sikoa and the Bloodline walking up through the aisles in the State Farm Arena and Solo Sikoa saying, hey, it's all part of the plan? Why isn't The Rock involved in WarGames? Even if he was to take a few bumps, who gives a shit? The Bloodline WarGames match should be a Bloodline WarGames match. Punk and Reed are not Bloodline. The only non-Bloodline individual that makes sense for being a part of this match is Sami Zayn because of his history with the Bloodline. And then Roman should have recruited someone like a Hikuleo. But no, let's throw in Reed and Punk. It's fucking stupid. It really is fucking stupid. Now then, on the positive side, I do believe that this match, this WarGames match, has the potential to be the best main roster WarGames match that we've seen. If it is done correctly, and we see some crazy shit. I know we'll probably see some crazy shit from Sami Zayn. We'll probably see some crazy shit from Bronson Reed. And we're definitely going to see some crazy shit from Jacob Fatu. If Jacob Fatu doesn't dive off the cell, I'm going to be a little disappointed. Jacob Fatu should absolutely dive off the fucking cell. On to whom? I don't know. Maybe we get a fucking tsunami from Bronson Reed off the fucking cell. But regardless, I do believe this has the potential to be the best main roster WarGames match that we've seen. We have plenty, and I mean plenty, to be excited about as far as this WarGames match goes. But if Solo's Bloodline doesn't win, then what the fuck are we doing? Solo's Bloodline is already hanging on by a thread. If you really want to salvage Solo's Bloodline, Solo Sikoa's Bloodline needs to win this WarGames match. And if The Rock can't be involved in the match, if The Rock is free, The Rock should absolutely swoop in and cost Roman Reigns the WarGames match and have Solo pin Roman. That is how you salvage Solo's Bloodline, and that is how you make sense and you draw connection from what we got back at Bad Blood, and you draw a connection with Bad Blood and Survivor Series with The Rock coming out to face off with Cody and Roman. And then you could tie up some loose ends there, and Roman will have a legitimate gripe with The Rock. Roman will have a bone to pick with The Rock. Because right now, The Rock is a non-factor. The Rock is a complete non-factor, and nobody's thinking about him. I haven't heard one mention of The Rock since Bad Blood. If Rock is available, he should fuck over Roman Reigns and have Solo pin Roman Reigns to win it for his team. That's how Survivor Series should end. A quicker one than last week. That is all that I got for you. Short, sweet, and to the point, ladies and gentlemen. That wraps up this edition of The Rundown. I would like to thank each and every single one of you for stopping on by and joining me here. Thank you very much to Capitan Rafuccio. Thank you very much to Drew on the Beat. Thank you very much to Mick. And thank you very much to everyone else watching out there on X, Rumble, and Facebook. You guys are awesome. Continue to support the DJ Storms brand. Venmo me, Cash App me, like, comment, and subscribe. Check out all the links in the description. Follow me on all platforms of social media. I'm thinking I might do something for Saturday night's main event. I'll probably do a rundown for that. Maybe I might get back into the swing of things with the LFU when January rolls around. And when January rolls around, I will swoop on back in, and we could probably have some fun going into WrestleMania season. We'll have some fun going into WrestleMania season, and we will have a grand old time heading into Las Vegas WrestleMania, and we will have a very fun time enjoying the first quarter of 2025. New year, same goals. Continue to find that inner peace. Continue to be the best. Continue to be abso-fucking-lutely, no matter who wants to say otherwise, the greatest wrestling analyst on the fucking planet and the greatest man that has ever walked the face of this earth. That would be yours truly. Ladies and gentlemen, I am DJ Storms. This has been the rundown for Survivor Series. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. But before we get out of here, very important question that all must answer. It's a rhetorical question, so I'll end up answering it for you anyway. But ladies and gentlemen, who runs the IWC? I just want to know. Who runs the IWC? Matter of fact, I will tell you who runs the IWC. It is who? Who? But DJ motherfucking Storms. And don't you ever, ever forget it.
Retribution! Oh yeah, we want retribution! Oh yeah, we want retribution!